Hello everyone, Squireoflight here, and today we're going to talk about how I go about with my chibi drawings. First off, when drawing a chibi character, it's important to determine the head and body ratio. In here, I'll be drawing a 2 and 1/4 heads high character. Her name is Ahveri, by the way, and she's one of my original characters in the future game that I'll be making. Now, while drawing, it's important to see the drawing as a 3D form, as we are not aiming for a flat drawing. As you can see, I'm just drawing cylinders and spheres for the joints, and some cube or cuboids, or what they call 3D rectangles, for the torso. Basically, what I'm saying is build the drawing up using 3D shapes rather than 2D. I honestly wanted to skip showing my sketches because I tend to sketch a lot before getting the right image. But I want to let you see it so you can see I don't get everything in one shot. Sketch takes a lot of time for me, and for me it's the most important thing to get right. It's the foundation of this drawing, just like a building. If the foundations are wrong, no matter how you beautify the drawing, in the end it will still be wrong. I have a foggy image in mind, and I'm still kind of sculpting my way to get it right. I'm still unsure, and I have this unease knowing I'm recording it, but you will get used to that. So I realized after letting her wear a skirt, it covered all her legs. I wanted to at least show her shoes out, and I feel it shouldn't be like this. Also, I started drawing flowers randomly, but it felt wrong, making them all face in the back. Plus, their connection with the main stem is just wrong. So I redrew the plant, having a kind of order, but it somehow ended up looking like a human spine. I went ahead and combined the random and the ordered one. The flowers that I drew still isn't matching with how I intended to be. I was having a hard time. Plus, the shoes showing like that, it looks so ridiculous. And I decided to redo it. This time, I adjusted the character height into 2.5 heads. Started working on her clothes. All seemed to be working well. And then I felt that the character is too stiff. I'm getting bored with this pose. I even draw these alien-like pods. That's so weird. I finally went minimalist with the flowers and made them bigger as well. This feels better. There's enough room for my eyes to breathe, and it's not too cluttered. I also began working on her hair, and this is where I also struggled too. For some reason, no matter what I do with her hair, it wouldn't match her clothes and what she's holding. Basically saying she wouldn't match the whole picture. Something was missing. I didn't want her to stray from her original hairstyle, like to have a ponytail or something like that. So I kept on figuring out what would look great on her by keeping on drawing what I think would work but will still be her. times, and then I figured if I put a baggy hat on her just like in the reference photo, it could work, right? But her hair didn't feel right. It isn't like her. So what I did was I went back to the third hairstyle I drew a while ago and made it work with her hat. Also struggled drawing with the hat because I couldn't mentally visualize it in 3D. So I looked on a reference online to get the feel of the form, or should I say the forms that make up that hat. And I saw a few baggy hats online and it helped me out. Now I start to work more on the details for the sketch, her facial features, and adding things I think would be good. Here's another difficult part. We are back with the flowers and I'm having a hard time how those petal tips look like in the angle they are facing. I don't want to trace or just copy exactly from reference, as it would be better letting my mind visualize this one with the available references. What I mean is, references are essential, but we must not fully rely on them. Let's train our mind to visualize as well. Let's say you get into a scenario wherein you only have one or two references available, but you want to draw them in a different angle, and you don't have any clue how it will look like, and you're left with visualizing with the only references you have, right? Knowing the form and understanding how an object is constructed is the answer to this problem. This is why most artists can draw any character you give them, even with a single reference photo of them, and even draw them in all sort of poses or angles, is because they're already familiar with the form of the human body, and they're just simply putting down the hairstyle, clothes, eyes, etc. that the character from reference has. Now here we are, and it's the second step in the process, and it's called the line art or inking. First, I put all the sketch layers in a folder and lower its opacity so I can ink over it. I then create a vector layer in Clip Studio Paint, that's how they call it, and then I use two pens. One is a little thicker and the other thinner. Note that in Clip Studio, it's not really a vector. It's also raster, but it's called vector. We'll use the thicker pen for the outlines. And the slightly thinner one for the inlines. Someone doesn't feel right. It's kind of thick, but I'll use this for now and see. Now I know it doesn't look good. So this time I made the brushes smaller. Now it's perfect. It feels great. Okay, so let's keep on working with the outline. And now with the use of the thinner pen, we will work on the inlines. And it's all done. Now we will proceed with the coloring of the character. First, let's fill the whole character with a solid color. I use the wand tool and I select outside the line art, expand the selection a bit more, and then invert it. So the reason why I'm doing this is that the character in itself is just lines. If we take away the background color and save this file into .png for example, you'll get only the lines. Everything else is transparent. And so by creating a layer and clipping it below the solid color layer that we just made, it would only color the parts that I filled with the solid color. This prevents any color spills or mistakes that we might not notice in the end. So with that, I started putting down all the base colors. Now, when all the base colors are in place, we will proceed with the shading. I use two kinds of shading. First is called soft shading, and on the second layer, I use hard shading. It's what their term implies, shading that is soft and shading that is hard, which is achieved by using a soft brush and a hard brush. What I do, however, is that I fill it in first with the solid color and then use a soft eraser to create the soft shadows. And then what I do as well with the hard shadows is that I use a hard pen when laying down the color of the shadow and then finish it off with a huge soft eraser to create a gradient-like hard shadow. It makes it more interesting. I also went ahead and started adding lighting. I used a bright yellow color and set the layer mode to glow dodge to create a more glowy, vibrant color. Sometimes I switch with add glow, overlay, screen, and those light layers. Whatever works just to get the image right. I also used a textured brush for her hat to emulate the kind of woolly material used to make it. From here on, I'll keep on coloring and adding more details. I also felt something is wrong with her eyes, so I went back to the line art layer and made some adjustments. Now that's perfect. Now let's continue and finish up coloring. And the character's done. But I feel I should add the background. Alright, so I decided to build up a kind of island-like thingy as her platform. I like a wooden fence in the back, some grass, some flowers, maybe add some stones as well. Yeah, let's see how that works. So first try, meh, it doesn't feel right. It feels too stiff. Well, let's do it again. The second try, oh okay. You know, I forgot the important thing. This time, let's focus more on creating forms that actually complement the whole drawing. Also adjust it whenever necessary. Don't be stiff. Okay, so now we're going to sketch it all out. And ink it. And then I began coloring it as well, like we used to. I'll keep it simpler this time. And then to complete it, we add the character's cast shadow on the background. Yeah, so I think that's done. But what I'll do is that I'll leave it for a while and come back and see if there's anything wrong with it or something is missing. It's always a good habit to do that because sometimes when you go back to a picture you drew after not seeing it for a while, you start to notice things that either you want to work more on or change, some hidden mistakes. So it's also very important. But yeah, don't overdwell on it as well, as you might end up using a lot more time than you're supposed to. So I noticed that her lighting and shadow on the face feels wrong. Here's how it looks now. And now I can finally say we are really done. I really enjoyed drawing this one and it feels so pleasant to look at. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Please like this video, share it with your friends or your fellow artists in need. Subscribe to my channel and finally hit that notification bell. Also, before you go, I'd like to bless you with some words of wisdom today. The passage is from Philippians 4:8 and it says, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." Alright, so that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope it has given you courage and inspiration to draw. Just know that if anyone lacks wisdom, God freely gives it to those who asks of Him. See you in the next video. Bye bye!